Today's video is being brought to you by NeverDenyMe.com. Make sure you take a look at the website for all your graphic needs, anything from digital to physical. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy named Matthews back again with another video. Today I got something special for you guys, man. A lot of you guys have been asking me to make a mask that fits into a machine that can only stitch up to 4x4, and I finally done it, right? This is going to be my very first time stitching it out, but if I did my calculations correctly, it's going to work out great. Now, first things first, let me tell you guys the reason why I didn't do it before. Because when I came out with my original, I'll show you guys these in a second, but when I came out with my original mask files, a lot of people did say, hey, bro, can you make one that fits a 4x4? And to me, in my mind, it was just like, if you want to make one that fits in a 4x4, just like sew it. And then it finally clicked to me today that some people don't have sewing machines. Some of you have purchased machines that can only do embroidery. There's combo machines. The one I have right here does sewing and embroidery, and it can stitch up to 5x7 at one time, and I can do the 4x4 and even smaller than that. But there's other machines that some of you guys have that only stitch 4x4, and it's not a sewing machine at all, so you cannot use, you can't just cut the shape of the fabric out and then sew it together. So that was my logic as to why I never created this file before. But today, I'm gonna go ahead and make one for you. First, let me show you guys the other files, or not the other files, but the other mask that I have made. So this is the very first mask that I ever made, right? This is one of the pleated mask. Just pull it down. Doesn't cover my entire, like my chin area because I have the beard, but it does stretch down that way, but it doesn't stay because my beard just wants to knock it off, right? So this was the original mask file that I did a while ago. Then I created these ones right here, right? These ones are pretty cool. These double-sided, they pop out and everything like that. I don't want to mess with this one because this is a new one that actually is still for sale. I still have one of these available, but I'm going to show you this style in the one that I actually use. So I've been using mine since this whole thing started. This is you know, pretty old, done cleaned it and everything like that a couple times. So same thing, just with a different fabric, but I will show you guys what it looks like when I put it on. First thing, there's a flap that goes on the other side there. Got the elastic, of course. And this is how it looks when I put it on. The one that we're gonna go ahead and create for you guys today is similar to this, but I don't want to give you guys too much of a close-up on this until we knock this one out, because this one right here was made using a 5x7 hoop. So today we're going to be using a 4x4 hoop, which is this size right here. As you guys can see, I do already have my material hooped in, and then we're going to add some stabilizer and all that good stuff there next. This style of mask that we're going to be making today is a double-sided mask. So you can flip it one way, it works. Flip it the other way, it works. One thing I would recommend though is if you go outside and have, you know, one way facing out, don't flip it in reverse until you actually clean it off. So that's just my little disclaimer on that. So first thing you would want to do is hoop your material in your 4x4 hoop. If you're going to use double-sided, I'm not really too concerned about double-sided designs. I don't want to use too much of my fabric, but what you would do is put the cool side of your fabric, like the part that you would actually want people to see, or you would want to see yourself. You want to put the cool side facing to the bottom of your hoop. So when you set your machine, your hoop into your machine, the wrong side should be on top, the good side should be on the back. Mine just so happens to be black on both sides, so it doesn't really matter for me. But let's go ahead and get started on today's project. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into the machine, and I'll show you guys on the machine right here that this does fit a 4x4 hoop. As you guys can see, it is checked on the 4x4 side right there, and the mask is gonna fit perfectly within the hoop right there. So now that we have verified that this design will fit into a 4x4 hoop, let's go ahead and continue. We will press set to throw it into the machine. And one thing that's going to be really important that you guys do not forget is that I've created one file to make this mask, right? But you have to do two different things to actually form the mask. So a larger hoop would allow you to make both ends of the mask at one time, right? With the smaller hoop, you have to make the left side and the right side and then kind of stitch them together. But we're going to be using the embroidery machine to stitch everything together. But you have to be careful though that you don't stitch two right sides of your design or two left sides. You have to switch it, make it a left side, then do the other one and make it a right side. So you do have to follow the instructions. So with that being said, let's take a closer look at the machine. So as you guys are able to see, we do have the file all loaded up into the machine, and the tip of it is facing the right side. That is going to be our final step. So before we do it on the right side, let's flip it over by hitting this icon right here. For those of you who have similar machines to me, or may not, you know, the button may be different, but something to rotate your design, want to flip it actually to the left. So we're going to start it off on the left side and we're going to finish it on the right side. So that's the very first step that you guys do not want to forget. Step 1, put the cool side of your fabric facing down. Step 2, make sure the tip is to the left of your hoop. We're going to press edit end, embroidery, and there it is. You can get this whole thing done in about 8 to 10 minutes if you have all your materials laid out and, you know, properly ready for you. So first thing, we're going to need to do our placement stitch and our tack down stitch. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to be using regular black thread. This is not embroidery thread, guys, because we want a stronger hold to it. So that's the reason why I'm using a stronger thread. Embroidery thread is more so for designing. Regular thread is actually for, you know, sewing things together. And we'll do the first step, which is our placement stitch. Go ahead and pop it out of the machine. Just want to show you guys the placement stitch that we did right there. This is showing the shape of the mask. So now we'll go ahead and pop it back into the machine. So now that we have our placement stitch there, we're going to need to do something else that you guys have probably not seen me do on this channel, depending on the order that you're, you know, watching my videos. So where I was going to just be placing my material onto there, as I do with most of my designs, what I need to do first is put my stabilizer. Now this right here is tearaway stabilizer. So we're going to actually set this on top. And then just to make sure we have the area correct, I'm just going to cut the excess stabilizer away to make sure it matches the size of fabric that I have here on top. Also pay attention to this too. This fabric has two different sides. There's a wrong side and a good side. The good side should be facing out. So when you put it on the machine, it should be like this. So make sure you place your stabilizer and your cool fabric on top of where you just did your placement stitch. And we're going to tack both of these down. Now the stabilizer is going to be acting as your filter. But if you guys actually have different filter material that you would prefer to use, you can use that instead. Kind of hard to see because it is in black. But there it is. We have our design tacked down onto our stabilizer as well as our material here. We are going to eventually cut that out in a moment. But for now, we need to actually add a section in the mask that we can actually put our elastic through. So right now it's just adding the channels to the mask, and this is what we're going to use to go ahead and thread our elastic through. It's going to do 2 of them, 1 on each side, making it nice and secure. What it's asking us to do now is to go ahead and put a border along our design. But before we do that, we do need to make sure that we cut off the excess material that's outside of our mask. So you should have something like this when you're all done cutting your design out. Getting as close as you can to the lines, trying not to cut the lines. Just be careful not to actually cut them. And just like this, don't do anything with the channels just yet. And this is how the back looks. So now we'll go ahead and pop it back into the machine. And we're going to do one more stitch before we switch over to the other side. And this is another part you really want to make sure you pay attention on, because it does say that there's 2 things left until this design is finished. But for this one, we are only going to be doing the one at the top. Don't do the last one on your first thing. So when it's facing to the left, do not stitch the last one. Only do this one. And we're going to leave it at that. As you guys can see right here, this one is going to do the angled, the small side, and then the bottom. And we're going to be leaving the nose for the end. So don't do the nose just yet. It's just over halfway done. This is going to do that last little angled section there. And we'll go ahead and cut it out of our hoop. So again, when the nose is facing to the left, do not do the last step. So just to make sure I don't do it, I'm going to cancel the project because we're done with this one for now. And then we're going to start it up again in a moment. Now what we need to do is cut this entire thing out. Now you can go ahead and use scissors. You can use your embroidery scissors. You can use whatever works best for you. Me, I'm going to use a sharp X-Acto blade, a little knife, and get real close to the edges, being careful not to cut the threads that are there. We popped it out real clean. So this is our one side of our mask, just like this right here. The inside, the material that I use too is really soft. It's a nice little weight. It's not flimsy or nothing like that, but it does form and give and stuff like that. So it will form to your face very nice. So now what we need to do is go ahead and remove all of this and put another sheet of our material in there. And there you have it. We have our second piece of material hooked into the machine. Again, the cool side should be facing the bottom if you choose to do a double-sided design. Now we're just going to load up our design again. And for those who need a visual, we do need it again to be on the right side. This is the second time we're doing it. The first time it should be on the left. The second time it should be on the right, which is just like this as it is shown. This is how the file will be sent when you purchase the file. So you got to manually make it go to the left, and then it's going to be on the right hand side after you cancel out of the project. And this time we're going to be stitching everything in here. And I'll show you guys the process of how we're going to attach both of those two pieces together. There you have it. And up to this point, these two pieces are almost exactly the same. So I'll put them up together. So one side is facing the left, the other side is facing to the right. Now the only step left that we have to do is this section here, the part that goes across on top of the mask. You see it right there? See what we're getting ready to do, guys? Now you just want to face it on top of each other, cool sides facing each other. And we're going to place them just like this, and we're going to tape them down. And once you have it all taped up, this is what it should look like for you. Just an angled piece at the top, another one at the bottom here. Do your very best to try to match both pieces up right at the line to make sure, you know, it's a nice fitting mask there. And we're just going to go ahead and pop this back into the machine. This is going to do one final stitch across, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when we pop it out the machine. I told you guys I would figure out a way to make this work on a 4x4 machine. Took a little while for me to release it, but I actually did it though. So if you guys find this video helpful, make sure you do give this video a thumbs up. If you guys would like to purchase this file, it can be purchased on my website, neverdenieme.com. All my information is going to be in the description, and I'll show you guys what this looks like once we finish it up. And this is what it looks like at the moment. As you guys can see, we have both pieces. They're tacked down right on top of each other, so that's good. Now we just need to take our X-Acto knife and cut it out again to pop it out of the material. Here is our mask. This is the wrong side of our mask. Let's zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it. This is the wrong side. It stitches by default on the wrong side, but now all you have to do is flip it the other way around. Nice little crease. Now we still do need to put the elastic in it, right? But let's show you guys how it looks so far. You can put it like this as well, same thing, in and out. If you had your other side of your fabric facing, the fabric is actually tucked into itself, has these borders and everything like that, and then in the end, looks like this. So I told you guys that this was actually meant to be made for a 5x7 machine. It actually goes a lot faster because you could do the left and the right side in one. This is 4x4. We had to do it separately, but the size is just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller with the 4x4 version, as you guys can see right there. So one is like more so for adults, the other one is for, you know, teens or something like that, smaller face people, but it actually does still fit me as well. I like the larger one a little bit more, but for those who have a 4x4 machine, this will definitely do. We're almost done though. What we want to do is actually open up these channels right here. So we just take our embroidery scissors and then just open up our fabric right here on this bottom line. You want to try to be careful because there is 3 layers of fabric, right, in one. There's the top layer, the bottom layer, and then the stabilizer in the middle. When you do this, you want to try to only cut through the top layer. Get it under there, tiny cut, and then you just go across in a straight line. Just right over to the other side on that line. Do the same thing on the other side. It's easy on this one because there's actually still a piece of thread right there. So just go straight across. Just stab the scissors where the thread is actually already poked. Do a baby snippet. Get the scissors up under there. There it is, that simple. And push it through. And then just don't let it go all the way to the bottom. Just kind of catch it before it goes all the way down to the bottom. Here we go. And what you're going to want to do is tie a knot in it. Now the reason why I'm not going to tie a knot is because I told you guys this is just scrap material, and I already know that this is not long enough for me, but I actually ran out of the thinner elastic. I prefer elastic like this, a little rubber band elastic, versus the flat longer ones. So I'm not going to tie this, but I'm actually going to put the other piece through just so you guys can, you know, see. how this works. This file can be purchased at neverdenyme.com. I also have other designs you can purchase, as well as other mask files for 5x7 machines. Specifically, where is it at? It's probably back in my pocket. This one right here that I carry with me every day. This one right here can also be purchased on the website, neverdenyme.com. But this is the one that we did today. Again, I'm not going to lace it all the way up because I just don't have the proper elastic. I actually ran out. But this is what it will be looking like, guys. So if you guys found this video helpful, do make sure you hit the thumbs up button before you get up out of here. Feel free to subscribe to my channel because I do embroidery stuff very often on this channel, as well as my other channel. Hit the link in the description or the card that pops up. Just subscribe to both of my channels to make sure you guys don't miss any type of projects. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.